Hey, and welcome to Represent. I am your host, Crunk Chocolate. For those who weren't a part of Shady Gang last season, the show Represent is me taking advantage of the off season, getting outside of my Manchester City bubble, talking to the supporters of different clubs. No competition means we aren't in competition. A truce of sorts. During Represent, we aren't rivals. We are simply football family. And shout out to the Black Fires. Got another family father in the house. What I'm looking forward to in this episode is I know little about the club, and I am so intrigued to find out how he chose FC Koln in Bundesliga. Give it a Shady Gang for the creator of 50 Plus Donner. We got Jake in the house.
What's up, everyone? I was gonna say, I don't think Colin has ever played Manchester City, like ever.
No, I feel like
So
I
we
would.
can't be rivals.
Yes, no, not at all.
Right.
um, yeah, but how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been the most exciting season for Bundesliga in a very long time. The title race is gonna come down to next week or this coming weekend on the whatever day that is, the 28th or whatever. And depending on if Dortmund can pull it off or if Bayern comes back, like it's all going to be decided. Probably, I would say it's going to come down to stoppage time, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, a whole fun weekend of football. I'm looking forward to it. Let's start off. If you want to talk about who are you, where are you? 50 plus donor. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so really, it started. Half of my family is from Germany.
Mm.
My grandfather is actually a Dortmund fan, so I was exposed to that a lot growing up. And then, just like the way life took me, I visited Germany a lot. Started centered more towards visiting Cologne, which is Koln, but I get Koln is a little hard to pronounce if you haven't pronounced it all the time. Um,
Cologne?
Cologne is like what you can say if you don't want to say Koln, but Koln's a
Oh,
little
okay.
hard to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the
Okay.
same. There's kind of they're the same thing. But yeah, it really picked up when I actually lived there. I lived in a nearby, like maybe 15 minutes from it, called Bonn, and that really exposed me to like German fan culture and things like that. So um, yeah, I've been a fan ever since then. 50 plus donor is my like y'all doing Manchester City stuff. I do that for German soccer in general, like Frauen Bundesliga, which women's Bundesliga and men's Bundesliga, and yeah, I just love the league. I think it's so entertaining. It's always exciting. Even if the title race isn't always deciding, like relegation and like European spots are always coming down the last few weeks. So, and like second Bundesliga, the the promotion race is always out of control. So,
Okay. We are obviously English, buddy, and we know the English culture. I'm not sure how much you know about English football culture, but I guess maybe just explain German culture and maybe if you know flashpoints, maybe what's the difference between German footy culture and English footy culture, if there are any.
yeah, I feel like it's hard to be a soccer fan and not know about British football culture. Like, admittedly, it's I think very influential. Um, no matter what, it's just the biggest league in the world. I'd say the big difference is a lot of the things I see Premier League fans starting to complain about, like the insane ticket prices, got like the control from the ownership. That stuff is really in the German soccer fans' mind to not have that happen, like have takeovers and not have like rebranding and things like that happen without the fans say so. That's what the 50 plus one rule, if you've heard of it,
Yeah.
that's really centered around no matter, corporations do buy into teams a lot of the time, but still at the end of the day, fans have the most say so. They have like board meetings and things like that where they can vote on important club issues. And that's why, you could go to hell, like Bayern Munich supporter section tickets for the season like $160.
Hmm.
So that's how they're able to do stuff like that with fan control, and that's very like tradition and fan control and um, tradition, like that's super super important in Germany.
Okay. So this is just the heel in me asking. So if you guys control the things and try to keep the prices low, how I know you care, do you care more about the competition than I guess the finances growing and the league growing, or is that stopping the league from growing?
I don't think I think everyone has their own opinions. My personal one is I like I feel like Bundesliga is internally very competitive, and I love that, and I love that people aren't selling themselves. They're like selling themselves to win. I think winning is important. Like who doesn't want to win? But I think if you ask most German fans, would you want to win or uh, would you want to win and lose your soul, or would you want to keep your soul and not be as competitive? People would choose the second option. I'm more inclined to the second option, but I do think the setup of Bundesliga and what makes Bayern so good and things like that just need to be reassessed because I think the way it's set up is so heavily geared toward Bayern and Dortmund succeeding that other clubs have such a big ladder to climb to catch up to them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we definitely got that in English football. Well, and
Yeah.
you're mentioning about like the affordable prices. It always pops up in my feed, and I like it every time, no matter who shares it. It's that Dortmund six pack of beer for like 11 euros.
hmm
Like that breaks my brain. And even Dortmund like retweet, like quote tweeted it, and they were like, "Hey, like you shouldn't have to break the bank to have a good time." And that is
Yeah.
a lovely mentality that you would want to hear from your club. And I like the only way I'm getting prices like that is a local minor league sport. Like that's it. And
Yeah. Right.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's all I have around us. It's minor league sports. So it's nice. It's nice. Like Chicago's a 3 hour drive. Basically,
Okay.
anywhere I have to go, whereas a quote unquote bigger city with a professional team, it's I think it's about at least 3 hour drive because Milwaukee's like 3 hours. Okay, so you said your grandpa's a Dortmund fan. How did you choose Koln?
Yeah. It's because I
Yes,
visited
okay, Koln.
Cologne a lot, and then I lived in Bonn, which was not too far away.
And it was that easy? It wasn't like
Oh yeah.
oh, okay.
Easy choice. I mean, are they're so annoying and they're so painful to watch sometimes. But I mean, there's just something I think any Colm fan can tell you. Like, there's just something about the city. There's something about the team that's just very infectious. Um, like I said, they're not the most like good team, but like the atmosphere is incredible. They care a lot about the community, and like the city just genuinely loves the club.
Right.
Like if you go to a game day or you just talk about it like when you're there, like everyone's just so excited to talk about the team. So
Well, that's great to hear, honestly, because
yeah,
that's all that matters is how do the people feel about that club. Uh,
yeah.
so we'll rewind all the way back to the beginning of of this current season, leading into it. What were the transfer moves uh, to what players came, what players left, and with that, what were your expectations leading into the season?
So it's a little tough. But when we made a European competition, we made European Conference League or Europa Conference League, whatever it's called. We made that last season, and the last season we made a European competition, we got like we didn't win the first half of the season, and like we got relegated pretty quickly. Um, So I was already nervous coming into this season. I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen again. We got Stefan Tigges from Dortmund. We got who else did we get? We didn't really get that many people, which also added to it of being concerned because we didn't have a lot of depth. So we started off the year strong, but like the playing three competitions thing really wore down the team towards the end, like the World Cup break.
Hmm.
I saw them play their U.S. friendly in Austin. You can tell everyone just wanted to like rest and not have to be. They appreciate like us supporting them, but you just tell they wanted to go on vacation. But then in the winter transfer window, we got David Zelka from Hertha Berlin because we're not very deep at striker in our strike. Like we lost Modest, who is our historically one of our best strikers ever, and we just needed help at striker. Everyone was underperforming, and he was underperforming at first, but now towards the end of the season, something's happened. Like he read a self-help book or something. He he's on fire right now. The issue, I don't know how many people will know about this. It's a long story, but basically, Koln may have a transfer ban for the next two windows.
Oh,
So they're making a lot of contract extensions. You're starting to see a little rumbling from like the second team
or
of like people getting extensions. So anything could happen this summer. But yeah, we
what is
haven't
with the
really.
transfer ban? What's happening with that?
To sum it up, there was and this is what's so annoying is like it was for like a 16-year-old player, like probably
Mm,
never gonna see a senior team,
yeah,
but there was like a contract kind of
yeah,
issue
got him a little too
that they
early.
had, and instead of the club that they were getting a player from being like, yeah, just give us the money, they wanted to take it higher, so it went to FIFA, and FIFA, of course, is trying to bring down the hammer. Everyone, I think it's still in the air, but yeah, that's not going to be great.
Well, sorry to hear that, and also don't get us started about,
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the place for FIFA rulings.
Yeah, we're used to it, and I say burn it all down. So, um, okay, I guess let's talk about the team altogether. Who are, I guess the star players?
So it's actually sad. This upcoming game is easily like a club legends last game
Hmm.
ever. He's retiring at the end of the season. Jonas Hector. He actually played for a German national team for a little bit. Um, and like one of the biggest moments of his career in a lot of fans' eyes was he was playing for a German national team and we got relegated. And everyone's like, yeah, he was getting offers from like Liverpool, he's getting offers from Manchester United. Like I think even Barcelona had interest in him, and he turned all of that down and went down with the team.
Hmm.
And like everyone's like, what? So it's his last game this upcoming game against Bayern. So everyone's hoping he goes out on top. Some other star players. We lost one of our best, like Anthony Modest. He left in early in the season. Uh, we also got like Florian Kainz. He's an Austrian midfielder who's gotten really good under our manager. He used to be like okay, but our current manager made a lot of people very very good somehow. Um, Elis Shakiri. I think he was rumored to go to you guys this summer even. Um, he's like a star defensive midfielder. We don't really have a lot of stick out stars, but I think the team's very good cohesively.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, just for you guys, I'm not talking about like who's the person that's like
Yeah,
in front,
yeah,
like in a Gatorade commercial or something like that. But yeah,
yeah.
everybody has the players that they enjoy, I guess. So yeah, that's what we want to know. Like, let us into the Cone world.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
of course. And obviously on Twitter, I would love everyone to be a Cone fan, but
I mean, I don't have a team that I root for in the Bundesliga. I just watch Bundesliga's matches, and I kind of just
I'm just
pick a team.
saying, it's pretty fun.
I mean, the only apprehension I have is it's red. That is admittedly the only apprehension.
I can see how that's a color you don't like.
Oh, okay, so looking back at the season, what would you say would be like your best win? And we'll start with the best win. And if you want to talk about, if you want to handle the pain enough to also talk about your worst loss of the season.
I'll do you one better. I'll say our best win, draw, and loss
Ooh,
because
let's
I think
go. Let's
there's a
go.
draw that sticks out. Our best win was easily uh, when we trashed Bremen. We won 7-1. It was like coming back from a World Cup break. Everyone's like, "Oh man, I hope this team's like in better form than what they ended the first half of the season with." They came out there and they jumped them.
So is that your guys' like rival, Werder Bremen? Oh,
No,
okay.
they're just there.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's always nice
The
to be
wrath
down on.
came
Yeah, it's
down.
always good to be down on a team. Who does Cone have like a rival?
Oh yeah, they have really two, technically three, but the third one, Dusseldorf, they don't really play that much. They're
Hmm.
usually in the second league. But the biggest rivals are Bayer Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach. I almost don't even want to say that word. But yeah, though that was also another big win was we actually got safety from relegation. Like it would have been really a lot of things would have had to happen for us to get relegated, but we beat Leverkusen 2-1, ended their winning streak of like 13 games or something to
Hmm.
stay up. So our best draw was by far when we drew Bayern Munich early in the season. It was right after the Bremen game, so we were like, "Oh man, like I hope we can carry that into it." And like we were winning the entire game 1-0. And like if you go back and watch Joshua Kimmich hit like a it took like a god shot for them to get that draw. So that's our best draw, and our worst loss was easily our first game against Gladbach this season. Oh, it was 5-2.
Hmm.
Uh, it was like at their house too. It was just gross. I wanted to throw up. I want to throw up just thinking about it.
Yeah, ours was Liverpool. The 1-0 loss to Liverpool, the way that we lost, it was just Jao Cancelo got spun and turned into a goof by Salah, and then Salah did what Salah does, ran up the pitch and knocked the ball past the keeper, and
And
that
they were like low on the table at that point too,
yeah,
right?
and like the
Ugh.
idea was we were doing great the whole match. It was just that one moment, and
That's all it takes.
make sure we
It only takes
that was
just
pain.
one moment of chaos,
And I'm
and
sure
that's
there
all
are
it
probably
takes.
more losses that people would probably say, but that was the one that had me be like, I hate this. What are we doing this season? Are we going to be able to do what I think we're going to be able to do?
I'm sure other fans hang on to y'all's losses than you guys do.
oh, I bet.
As rare as that happens.
I bet. And that that has been, I guess, the thing with this is just trying to talk about my team, and I'm not, and just like my football team, I'm aware that they have the success that they have, and so certain moments I can sound smug to, I guess, some of the teams I saw. So I really hope I'm not doing that or I'm not coming off that way. And that's to you, future guests listening, and to Shady Gang. I'm doing my best. Yes. Um, your club's MVP. Who would you personally say? It doesn't even have to be who is the best player on the team, but who would you say on your team is the most valuable player?
Yo, it's Hector by far. I think like the fact that he's retiring and we may have this transfer ban, like I don't know. There's you already are missing like he's our captain, as you could probably guess. Missing your captain like that is hard already, and then he's just such a defensive presence too. He's everywhere. He's trying to do assists. He's like trying to shoot. He's locking down the team best attacker. So like missing that this season, this next season is going to be impossible to 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 fill up. Um, but yeah, I think he's our best player for sure, and our most consistent too. He every season he's at a high level.
And looking back at the season, how would you say the club has performed? Have they overperformed, underperformed, or have they met expectation?
Um, I think overperform because like what I said before, last time they made a European competition, they just didn't have the gas to stay consistent in the league. The fact that we're one safe, two safe for the longest, like this is the most depressing stat. This 5 year stretch of not getting relegated is the longest we've not been relegated and since like the 90s. Like usually it's like 3 years relegation, like promoted 2 years relegation.
Mm,
So like this is the most consistent they've been in the
yeah.
league since the 90s. So I think everyone's just chasing after that. So I, as much as I want, everybody wants to be in Europe and stuff like that, but I think considering everything, like this has been a very successful season. So
Yeah, I mean, you can only attack what's in front of you.
exactly,
And
yeah.
and yes, City are where they are now, but I have been a fan before the takeover. It was just a few years before the takeover, but it was before the takeover. And so I remember just being happy and being in the Champions League. I truly remember just being excited to be playing against teams like Barca and Bayern and all those things. It was just really cool seeing us against them. And now we're like looking at them eye to eye now. And it's been a very long process. And so it's easy to be like, yes, you're Man City, you don't understand that stuff. But like truly I do. I really do and I enjoy that. And I mean that's half the thing that I love doing when I play on FIFA is like taking a Division 2 team and trying to like grind the way up and start kicking even Man City's ass. Like that's the things that I love. I love the grind. It's fun.
Man, I can't imagine. That should be a book in itself. Like the Manchester City, like the progression through the years of like before a takeover, like that. I mean, everybody probably remembers the Aguero like against
Yes.
who was
Yeah.
it? QPR. Uh,
Aguero. Yes.
yeah, I
Like a
absolutely
320. Yeah.
just bonkers stuff.
Yes. And I did not see that live because there really weren't many places for me to do it at that time. And
Mhm.
so I saw it on YouTube later. Like I checked the score and I saw the score, and then so I was able to see what happened. But yeah, that was like something unfortunately that was very much lost for me. And I watched all the, docs and everything on it, and that's fun. But that's that's I guess is the toughest thing for me was being a fan was watching Premier League matches here in the US. How is that in for the Bundesliga? Especially like I'm sure it's probably gotten better within the last few years, but like say maybe 10 years ago, how was it? What were you doing? How were you watching these matches?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to admit anything on the show, but let's say I was finding alternate methods.
Hey, oh, me too. Oh yeah, no, those streams, those illegal streams, they were out there.
I will never say I did that, but I did find other ways to get to figure things out. But we did move to the contract got bought by Fox Soccer, um, and they had like their streaming service that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I originally was like, man, this is garbage because they would never put it on Fox ever, like the channels or anything,
Hmm.
and like the streaming service was pretty expensive.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this sucks. And then Bundesliga rights got bought by ESPN, and in the first 2 months, I'm like, this is great, this is awesome. Ever since then, it's been downhill.
Mm.
Ugh. Like, I would like CBS Sports to get them because I think you can probably see with like Golasso Show and what they do with Champions League and
Yeah, they're
all of
fantastic.
that. Like, they're all about like the content and
Yeah.
building up some of
Hmm.
these games. ESPN, it seems like they forgot they bought the rights sometimes. And the most annoying thing is, like I said earlier, like second league is always super exciting. Um, they showed two second league games every weekend. That's it. And even Fox Soccer showed all of them. Even if they didn't have a scoreboard or commentators, they still showed them. That's what anyone wants to see is their team. So I think the contract's up in 2 years, and I'm hoping they don't stay with ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah, Fox Soccer. Fox Soccer Plus, like Fox
Oh my
Sports
god, I don't
Gold,
even want to hear
all
that
of
name.
those. Like I man, like trust me, I gave Fox Soccer Gold my money. It was like $60. They said that you were going to be able to
Yeah.
watch all of the games, and I'm pretty sure there were like two Man City matches on the app the entire season. Yeah, it was awful. No, those were very dark times.
Yeah, at least you guys, I feel like NBC, even though they're trying very hard to make everyone hate them, it's still is a pretty good deal, right?
It's really funny because I say I'm a fan of Man City, and the first thing most people, especially around here in the Midwest and Eastern Iowa, Ted Lasso, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
Ted Lasso.
that's where they're from.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the nail on the head.
Yup. Zaha or whatever that guy's name is,
Yeah,
Zaza or whatever.
yeah.
I don't even. I
Zaza.
I don't watch it. I lied. Let me. I haven't watched this new season because I saw the vibes of what they were doing. Every show does this, especially when it starts off as like a good hard comedy. They start winning the awards and they start getting the critical acclaim, and then people want to start getting their acting on, and you start losing all of the funny. And yeah, it's just the show's lost. I'm not. I'm tired of drama. Like you used to be able to turn the show on and turn your brain off and not feel anything and just chuckle. It was like dumb, senseless humor. It's like Bob's Burgers. It was like stuff like that. It was great. And now they're trying to like be deep, but not deep and stupid and romantic. It's like it's a telenovela. It's a Mayo
It
telenovela.
is a tell. Mayo tell. Oh my god. Mayo telling them. Oh my god. I'm never gonna forget that one. What are you talking about? Well, at least Love Island's coming back early in a month. That you can definitely turn your brain off. So,
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, back to real funny, I guess. So let who's your manager? Or is he story like has he been there for a while? Like who? Let us know about this guy. How do you feel about him? What is your
oh
and also
well,
what is your style? How does Cone play?
well, this is gonna be a pretty long one. So, well, I'll try to shorten it. We had very inconsistent managers for a little bit,
Mm,
and the style of play was very lost. Like the person I told about, Modeste, it was kind of just like put the ball wherever he is and maybe he'll score. Uh, and that obviously isn't what you should hinge your whole game plan on, even though it did work for a little bit. Um, our last manager, I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Marcus Gistol. He just played like torture football, like
mm,
so slow. If no adjustments, it was just awful to watch. And then we got our new manager, Stefan Baumgart. He actually was the coach when this team Paderborn got promoted twice in 2 years. He really is about like really fast, like running a lot. Like, I mean, people get their cardio in playing for Stefan Baumgart. Like he has them running. Um, and it's so much. I think like his style of play really a lot of players would love to play that instead of like the hanging back and just
mhm.
all they're there is to cross to the striker. Um, I think it's like and like I said earlier, he's really good at turning around players. Like one of our players, Benno Schmitz, it was like when you saw him in starting lineup, you're just like, oh no, oh I hope they don't like run anywhere near him. Like the team's gonna score like every time they run at him. And then this year, like these past 2 years when he's been manager, is like he's turned into one of the best like right backs on the team, or like by far on the team. But like I would even argue one of the best right backs in the league. Um, and like he's just his energy, like when you see his energy, he really fits like the energy of the city and the club, and he just loves being there. And I think he just like really like he yells a lot during halftime and like just during the game. So he's like very energetic, and I think that's just really infectious for the team because like when you look at the stat sheet and you're like, damn, I ran like 3 kilometers in one game. What am I doing? Like you need a manager that is energetic so that you feel like you can do that instead of just being like, yeah, whatever, okay, run a lot. You know what I mean? So I think he's a perfect manager. They got him an extension for another 2 years. And I think it's the right move. We need some long time consistency in manager now.
I like that. Um, wait, hold on. Wait, you say you don't see him as the manager of the future?
No, I do. I
Okay.
want that. I mean, obviously results depend and
Yeah.
whatnot,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'd like to see him at the club as
Cool.
long as
Cool. Cool.
possible.
All right. So summer transfer, it's almost here. I know you said the ban may or may not happen, so I guess it's all contingent on that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. And this is if the ban doesn't happen, what positions, I guess, would you be looking to replace other than, I guess, your striker, your all-time striker?
Yeah, losing Hector and Sakiri, both of our defensive midfielders, or like whatever. Hector plays like a billion positions. Um, that's key. We're gonna need to find someone to fill in defensive midfield. Um, I would even say we probably need like an attacking midfielder that can help a striker. We do have someone, Mark Uth, who's been injured the past year, and that was his role, and nobody can fill it. So I think even Koln fans watching this for uh, to hear about the team, like don't forget Mark Uth. Even if we have the transfer ban, he's still on the team, and like he didn't play all year. So I think people are like freaking out. We don't have a second striker, and he's there. He's just rehabbing. Uh, but yeah, I would say those are the big ones. I think we probably need a backup keeper because our other keeper, who's a club legend, who like got replaced, he as much as I love him, he got worse as time went on. Um, he's gonna be gone at the end of the season too, so we probably need a backup striker. But yeah, I would say those are the big positions that we need for sure.
All right. And then the final question of the episode, after all of the transfers, if your your hopes happen, what would be the expectations for the next season? Where would you see the club placing?
Obviously, we're gonna win the league naturally.
I love that energy. I love it. That's what you're supposed to say. People are killing Luke Shaw because that's what he said about today. An interview leaked with Football Day, well, released with Football Daily, and that's what he said that United's gonna win the Premier League and Champions League next season, and everyone's just like, get real, and it's like, yeah, yeah, but
Well, why
also
would you want why would you want your player to say, "Oh yeah, we're not going to make Champions League. We're going
exactly.
to do pretty bad"?
And,
Why would you want them to say
and he
that?
gets enough stick from his fans anyway, so he needs to just say all of the right things all of the time.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I think I feel comfortable saying this on this show. Manchester City United fans are weirdos, man.
Yes.
They are super weirdos.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I keep up with Premier League every now and then. But there's one game where like Manchester City fans on Twitter were like just going, or Manchester United fans were just going off, like, "Oh my god, the season's ruined. Like everything sucks." And it was like a 2-2 draw, and they're in fourth place. I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah. Yeah. Their expectations are shot. So
Yeah.
it's been fun watching the season go down, and but I am very much looking forward to. I mean, I always just pop in and out of other leagues and watching matches, but I think this upcoming season I want to try to make it a little more like narrow it, like maybe pay attention to one other team, two other teams, and stuff like that. Because obviously the top squads, that's kind of easy to keep up with them. You can just
Yeah.
so yeah. No, I love. Hey, I will mentally work on the red and, and try to see if I can get over that hurdle during the summer, and I'll get back to you. Maybe if
See,
they,
I did predict that, and I did have some
I
blue up
did see
here
that. I
too.
did see that.
I didn't go all in on the red.
My eyes appreciate it. Thank you for that. um, well, I would love for you to let the listeners know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah, so don't follow my personal Twitter; it's awful. But 50 plus donor is a Twitch show that I really focus down on German soccer, and like the way it's covered sometimes is really it's not covered in English very often, and I think it can be pretty uptight sometimes. So my whole purpose is to like for new fans to have a community to like watch like just learn about the league and get into it and everything. Um, it's coming to the end of the summer, so I'm trying to figure out a content plan too. But we got some stuff like Bundesliga Jeopardy, German beer tasting. We got some stuff, and like
Ooh,
I applied for a press pass for a few of the Bundesliga friendlies this summer,
oh,
so we'll
nice.
see about that.
Cool.
But yeah, you can just follow me there on Instagram, on Twitch definitely, and on Twitter as long as that's alive. Because there's I'll have to derail this, but there's one person intent on ruining Twitter, and it's the guy running Twitter. So,
Oddly enough. Oddly enough.
oddly enough, who could have seen that? But yeah, that's the places. Even if you're not into German soccer, like I think we just meme and dream. So
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. This is Represents, where we bring supporters from outside of our Manchester City bubble to represent their clubs. This is JP of FC Koln, and I am
hey,
Crump
there you go.
Chocolate. And you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.